Rating Liverpool's transfer window. I mean, it started off perfectly, didn't it? They have released players that were injury prone, not reliable. Apart from James Milner, he was the opposite of both of those things. But Keita and Oxlade-Chamberlain, especially in that midfield, not reliable and not always fit. And they've replaced them with consistency. They brought in a World Cup winner. And in the midfield, they did a good job. But in the last few weeks, losing Henderson, and if they lose Fabinho's the one that if they lose him, they must replace him. So it puts a little bit of pressure on them, because up until that point, I think they had a great window. But losing those two players, it could create a bit of a leadership void. Thiago, if he's going to be that number 6, the number 6 is such an important position for all teams now. The Rodri role, the Casemiro role, you see the difference that he's made to Manchester United. If Liverpool do all this good work at the top end of the pitch, they can score for fun. They've got a great defence. The keeper's amazing. But last year, the midfield, we saw how important it was. If you are going to be relying on Thiago to be the 6, I know they've got younger players that can play there. If they bring in Lavia, he will probably play there. He is 19. It's going to be a big role for him if he comes in and takes that spot. Because Thiago, I do not think he is reliable. I think we saw that last year. He is a little bit injury prone now. If you can keep him fit, he's class. Let's not get mixed up here. He's still a great player, and bringing him on 20 minutes to go to control the game, to kill the game, is a great tool to have. Henderson as well. I think those two players, Fabinho, he would have definitely played this season. He's still 29, Fabinho. So the fact that they're getting 40 million for him is a decent price. Can't really blame him, can't really blame Henderson for going, given the absurd money that's being offered. But also the club's £40 million for Fabinho, I think, is a good price. And it's like, some of these players, some of these deals, they're very hard to turn down for the clubs. Ruben Neves went for, was it 55 million? Wolves getting 55 million for a player. How many Premier League teams were willing to offer that much money for Ruben Neves? Again, don't get me wrong, he is a very good Premier League player. But I just think if you're a Man United, if you're a Tottenham, there's other players that are a bit younger that you could have gone out for. So the fact that Wolves can get an offer like that from a Saudi club, it's turning the heads of not just the players, but the clubs as well. Chelsea have got good money from Saudi Arabia this window. But back to Liverpool, I think they have had a good transfer window overall, but I think there is a risk that they go backwards a little bit if they don't get these midfield signings, the final piece of the midfield jigsaw puzzle for Liverpool that they've been working on this summer. Lavia, as I say, would be a good player. I think Amrabat would be a good player as well, to be honest. We all saw him in the World Cup. He would be a good player to bring in. Struggling to think of too many players that can come in and do what Fabinho does. He's one of the best, but Amrabat, for the interceptions and the tackles, certainly he gets around the pitch as well. He gets forward more than Fabinho. I don't think they've got the budget to go in for Caicedo. I could be wrong, but that would be a incredible signing for Liverpool. He would be such a good player for Jurgen Klopp. He would be such a good player for Pochettino as well, and he is such a good player for De Zerbi at Brighton. He's 21 years old. His stats in some areas eclipse that of Declan Rice. And Brighton are asking for 100 million plus for him. I think so far teams have offered 70. Arsenal offered 70, didn't they, in January? Now teams are pushing the £80 million mark. I don't think they want to go over the £100 million mark. A lot of players these days, they go with the hopes of add-ons, and if we win this, and if we do this, if he scores this amount of goals, if he plays this many games for the national team, that's quite a popular one. If you play Football Manager, you'll know all of this. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of Liverpool's transfer window so far? How has it been? Do you agree with me that this little bit at the end could make or break them? Because, look at the front line. If you watched a friendly the other day, I know it's a friendly, but you just forget, they've got Jota up top, who was injured last year, who's looking fantastic now and did at the end of last season. You've got Nunez, who is second season in England. He didn't really settle as Liverpool would have hoped. He got sent off in one of his first games, first home game, was it? With that headbutt. That's not the sign of somebody who's settled and is okay and ready to play to his best level. I think his best level is going to be electric. I think he is such a handful for defenders. He's got that pace as well. He can come in off the left, so direct when he gets the ball. He's going to be a good player. Salah scores, 25 goals every season. He is incredible. Luis Diaz as well, who, again, injured last year for a large chunk of the season. They were unlucky with injuries, but also the midfield just expired, right? It's just expired. If you want to play in that way, it doesn't work anymore. You have to change the way you play, and you're not really built for that in other areas of the pitch. So the energy being replaced this summer was task number one for Jurgen Klopp, and I think he's done that. He's brought in real quality, he's brought in a World Cup winner, and they are good, young, hungry players who run for miles. Let me know what you think in the comments.